Hey y'all, this is little Vernie coming back to you from Nebraska. I just thought maybe I ought to give you a little update, being that now that the high-speed timber goat season, the white-tail buck, the season is over for the rifle season. We still got the black powder going on, and black powder, that's kind of interesting. I do a little bit of that too. You get out there and you kind of do your Daniel Boone thing, you see, or your Davy Crockett, and use them old style guns and such, but. Then that's not going so good. I didn't get a deer this year, but it's okay. We've been having this drought out here, and it was pretty tough going. A lot of the guys said they just didn't get one this year. They just didn't see much out there, and that's okay, because sometimes that's just the way it is. And I don't just shoot anything that goes by. We don't go through the meat all that fast, so I just generally. I want to make sure I got something that's kind of good to hang on the wall, too, so I just didn't do so good out there, But they talk about the buck fever, you see, and there was some of that going on with some folks, from what I understand, especially being that it was one of those kind of tough years in the old deer stands, and I've never really been too acceptable to the buck fever. Now, the buck fever is when you get so crazy, you think you gotta get your deer. You get so worked up, and I see folks that get that way, that they just think that that's what they live for. Well, that's not exactly my style. But anyway, I wanted to tell you that. One of the things with the buck fever is that people say they start seeing things when they're out there in the woods looking for them high-speed timber goats, and I've never really experienced that, but I am going to report to you what I did see out there this year. I did not see a lot of deer or even a lot of the small animals. There were some going around, a couple coyotes. I did see a bobcat one day. That it was kind of fun to watch that. They're such pretty animals and stuff, and watch him go by. And I did have this one squirrel. Now, squirrels sometimes are a nemesis of the deer hunter because they'll sit above you and chatter and kind of tell the deer you're there. But this squirrel was a little different. He was sitting in a cedar tree close to where I was, and he seemed to be quite curious about what I was up to, because he kind of was sitting on the branch. Now, this tree is on the edge of a cattle path. Now, if you know about cattle, they keep rubbing up against it and kind of breaking the branches off. They kind of thicken the bottom. Squirrel can sit on them. They don't bounce up and down like they do on the other branches. But we also have these blueberries you see on these cedar trees, and this time of year. And that old squirrel, he sat there and he was sitting on this big branch and he was watching me. And every once in a while, he'd reach up with his little paw and he'd grab a handful of them berries and he'd start gnawing on them. I kind of looked like a kid in the kind of movie theater eating popcorn. I was kind of thinking, now, is he watching me or am I watching him? I don't know exactly how that is. But, that was kind of the normal things you see out there. And it was a pretty normal year. I got to about Saturday. It was going to rain on Sunday, so Saturday was probably my last chance to really get out there. And when the weather was half decent, it was beautiful this year. A lot of nice sunsets, sunrises. We like that out here too, And anyway, there was, they talk about this buck fever. You get to see things. Now, I'm just going to report what I've seen, and I know I don't have the buck fever because I did see a few deer go by. I've seen the coyotes. I've seen a couple of them squirrels and stuff, and then there was, just the regular normal things you see out in the woods. I seen this young family of Sasquatches going by, mom, dad, couple of little ones, they going by, and they didn't seem to bother too much. They weren't too concerned I was there. And then I seen these 7 little guys with pickaxes and shovels go by. They had this little gal with them. They were whistling and singing, and that was a little unusual, but I think I seen them in Gates, Nebraska one time down there, and I think that's maybe where they live. I really don't know why they were out where I was. Probably the most unusual thing I seen was this little green alien type looking guy who was riding a badger. Now, how he ever saddled and bridle broke that badger, I'll never figure out, but that baby could move right along up there. So you see, there wasn't anything unusual going on this year. It was just a kind of short deer this year. And so I just wanted to give you an update on that and tell you folks in Los Angeles that A lot of the deer were pretty safe this year that was out there, and I think you might appreciate that. The renewable protein was a little short, so that might make a little difference online. But we just wanted to give you a little update, and that's so this is little Vernie signing off from Nebraska.